Hello, my name is Dr. Jonathan Davies. I'm a member of the International Support Group for the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. I'm the working group coordinator, and I'm going to give a quick overview of the working groups, the themes that they're focusing on, and their outputs and their status and where they are at the moment. Many of you will already know that the United Nations has designated the year 2026 as the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. You can get more information about this from the website, which is on this page, but I'm going to show it again on the final slide, so you've got time to jot it down. Please do visit, come find out more about the year and see where you can contribute. The resolution was adopted in March 2022, supported by 102 governments and 337 organizations. And the aims were really to increase understanding of how important rangelands and pastoralists are for many things, including for security, economic development, environmental management, restoration, and for their cultural heritage. The aim of the year is also to address gaps in knowledge and understanding about rangelands and pastoralists through research and communication, and to promote more science-based policy and legislation, and also to mobilize people all around the world to take opportunities for working in rangelands and to scale up work in rangelands and with pastoralists. Currently, the year is organized by a global coordination group, 11 regional support groups, and 8 thematic working groups. Those are the groups that I coordinate and I'm going to talk about today. And the year so far is really based on the effort of a large number of volunteers around the world, and certainly looking forward to getting more members involved as we get closer to the year itself. During the year, during 2026, there's going to be a month dedicated to different themes, or to each theme. So you can see the themes for the months there. And the idea of the working groups, although the working groups are not perfectly aligned to each of these themes, some of them cut across more than one theme, but they are providing information that will be communicated during the year, but they're also being communicated as the working groups deliver their work. And so they're helping to maintain a steady flow of information, to build awareness around the international year, and to sort of really start scaling up support as we approach 2026. These are the 8 themes that we've agreed to date. It's not limited to these 8. There may be additional groups coming in future. These are the 8 that currently are at some stage in their development or delivery. Afforestation and rangelands, a group on mountain pastoralism, a group on pastoralism and gender, pastoralism and water, rangelands and land degradation neutrality, rangelands and biodiversity, the economics of pastoralism, and a group on pastoralist youth, which hasn't yet really been formed. I'm just going to give a few highlights for each of those groups, just so that you know where they stand. The year's really, through these working groups, the idea is to pull together the science and build awareness of the science of what we know about rangelands and pastoralists and their contribution to these multiple benefits. Resolutions have been taken by UN and other organizations in support of rangelands and pastoralists, and so there's a big opportunity there for us to build on. But the year is also looking to promote change at the national level and the regional level, to develop policies that favour sustainable management of rangeland resources by pastoralists and others, and to increase investment, sustainable and ethical investment in rangelands and in pastoralist livelihoods. The working groups are somewhat autonomous. They can really choose to deliver how and what they want, but these are some of the tasks that have been put to them: to collate and analyse existing research, so a scientific review, a literature review of what we know about each theme, look at gaps in the knowledge and identify opportunities for addressing those gaps, to stimulate participatory research to fill gaps and to explore opportunities for addressing some of those knowledge gaps. Also to look at policies in relation to their theme, to explore policy opportunities, policy gaps, identify targets, for example, within the international conventions, the MEAs, for science and for experience-based advocacy, and to strategize on the right messages for different targets, different target audiences, and to identify spokespeople and ambassadors who can best convey those messages. And importantly, and this is where these working groups link with the regional groups in particular, to engage with pastoralists, pastoralist organizations and their representatives and others throughout the network to disseminate those messages in different forums, internationally and nationally and locally, in order to generate public awareness worldwide. The first group is the one on afforestation and rangelands. That's the group that's the most advanced, coordinated by David Brisket and Susie Vetter. Their headline message is that rangeland afforestation is not a natural climate solution. And they provided a state-of-the-art paper and submitted that for publication. Their key message is really to ensure that afforestation efforts do not put rangelands at risk, and to make sure that efforts to address climate change don't harm the rangelands and grasslands by promoting the wrong kind of restoration efforts. Group 2 on mountain pastoralism, currently proposed to be coordinated by Igshan Samuels and Eric Chavez. There is a policy brief on sustainable mountain pastoralism at an early stage of development, I would say, and that's a group that could certainly do with more members. There's a group on pastoralism and gender, not yet fully formed. It's proposed to be led by Nitya Ghosh from India, and with a number of aims, highlighting the advantages of putting a gender into pastoralist policy and pastoralist development, disseminating information around gender and pastoralism, identifying gaps in research, but also working across the other 7 working groups to make sure that they incorporate gender into their work, and make sure that gender receives adequate attention during the year itself in 2026. And that working group has developed a concept note, which you can download from the website. That's true for most of the working groups, I should say. There's a group on pastoralism and water, which was launched after a particular webinar on pastoralism and water held last year, by a number of key partners, RWSN, CELEP, IMI, SIMVI Foundation, and the SCAP Foundation. You can see the full names for those acronyms there. Coordinated by Michael Odhiambo, Adrian Cullis, supported by Kirsten Dannett. And they're focusing both on water governance and also on water-related ecosystem services of rangelands, land and water management. Their concept note is also now available on the website. Group 5, one of the more advanced groups, working on rangelands and land degradation neutrality, coordinated by Bora Masumbuku and Munir Loichi, looking at that UN Convention to Combat Desertification process, which is where LDN sits as a target, and really addressing the value of rangelands and pastoralism and concerns over the conversion of rangelands in the effort to meet LDN targets. The working group will undertake, or is undertaking, I should say, research and analysis. They've developed case studies, developed a strong working paper. They're developing policy briefs, and we hope they'll also develop videos, webinars, and so on. Their concept notes available, and in fact, their draft report is out for review at the moment, and they will also be publishing a science review. Group 6 on rangelands and biodiversity is in the early stages, been initiated by Igshan Samuels. They'll be focusing on biodiversity and ecosystem services, and we're still looking and actively recruiting for members of that group right now. It's a good time to get on board if that's a subject of interest to you. The same can be said on the economics of pastoralism, which is under development, coordinated by Serena Ferrari, and looking at things like valuing pastoralism, its contribution to national economies, imports and exports of pastoral products, competition at national level between pastoral and more industrially produced livestock products, constraints with accessing markets that pastoralists face, and the role of pastoralism in promoting more sustainable production and consumption. The last group is this one on pastoralist youth, where there seems to be a lot of interest. We're just waiting for volunteers to step forward and pick up the reins. So there you go. You get a flavour of the sort of things that we're working on and the topics that are going to be addressed in the next 3 years as we approach, or to 2 years in the run-up to 2026, and then fed into the communications month by month during the international year. I said I would put the website address up at the end, and I haven't done that. I'll repeat it, and then I'll make sure that it's circulated. It is www.IYRP.info, info. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to connecting with you through the international year and through our online discussions.